Why the simplest experiments changed humanity. It looked almost trivial. A basic setup, common materials. Nothing that suggested history was about to bend. Most people imagine world-changing discoveries as complex and dramatic, but chemistry often works the opposite way. The experiments that reshape humanity are usually the simplest ones, easy to repeat, easy to understand, and dangerously easy to underestimate. To see why this matters today, we need to revisit how science actually moves forward. Progress does not always come from brilliance. Sometimes it comes from persistence, from repeating a small experiment until its implications grow too large to ignore. At first, these experiments were teaching tools, demonstrations meant to explain basic principles, cause and effect, input and output. They were not designed to scale. They were designed to explain. But chemistry does not respect intention. A reaction that works once can work again, and again, and again. Each repetition adds confidence. Each success invites application beyond the classroom. One simple experiment revealed a truth that would not stay contained. A predictable reaction, reliable results, a pathway anyone could follow. What began as learning quietly became capability. This is where the story begins. With experiments so simple they spread everywhere. And once they did, chemistry stopped being a subject and became a force shaping the modern world. As these experiments spread, their simplicity became their strength. No specialized equipment, no rare materials. Anyone with basic knowledge could reproduce the results. Chemistry moved from institutions into everyday hands. This democratization accelerated learning. Techniques improved rapidly. Variations emerged. What started as demonstration became experimentation at scale. Small insights multiplied into systems. At first, the benefits were undeniable. Education improved. Innovation accelerated. Barriers to entry fell. Chemistry became accessible, empowering a new generation of thinkers and builders. But accessibility also removed friction. Reactions were repeated without reflection. Results were trusted because they were familiar. Safety became assumed. The experiment worked, so it must be fine. This is where early tension formed. Simple experiments, repeated endlessly, began interacting with each other. Outputs combined. Byproducts overlapped. Chemistry that was safe in isolation behaved differently in aggregate. Scientists noticed that scale had changed the meaning of simplicity. What was harmless once became influential when multiplied. The experiment itself had not changed. Its reach had. Chemistry was no longer confined to controlled learning. It was embedded in tools, processes, and habits. And once knowledge became widespread, controlling its application became far more complex. The conflict deepened as the consequences of simplicity began to surface. Systems built from basic experiments grew faster than understanding could keep pace. What was once transparent became opaque through sheer scale. Chemistry revealed a quiet paradox. The easier a reaction is to perform, the harder it becomes to control collectively. No single experiment caused harm. No individual step seemed reckless. But combined, they formed networks of reactions influencing environments, economies, and health. Researchers trace emerging problems back to familiar foundations. The same basic reactions taught in classrooms were now operating continuously in the real world. Repeated, modified, and layered until their interactions produced outcomes no one had tested for long-term stability. This buildup carried emotional weight because nothing felt broken. Everything worked. That was the danger. Success masked accumulation. Chemistry followed the rules perfectly while systems drifted toward imbalance. Attempt to introduce limits faced resistance. Restricting simple experiments felt like restricting knowledge itself. Education and innovation blurred into application. The line between learning and deployment disappeared. This was the emotional peak. The realization that simplicity does not guarantee safety. That understanding one reaction does not mean understanding what happens when millions of people repeat it endlessly. Chemistry had given humanity powerful tools through simplicity, but it had also revealed that even the most basic experiments carry responsibility once they scale beyond intention. The climax arrives with a clear insight. The experiments themselves were never the danger. It was what happened after they left the laboratory. Once knowledge spreads, chemistry cannot be recalled. Reactions can be repeated without context. Results can be applied without foresight. The simplicity that empowered humanity also removed natural barriers to misuse. This understanding reshapes the lesson. Education is not just about teaching reactions. It is about teaching consequence. Every simple experiment is a doorway. What matters is where it leads when scaled. The resolution lies in responsibility without restriction, encouraging curiosity while embedding awareness, designing systems that anticipate how basic chemistry behaves when repeated globally. The simplest experiments change humanity because they made chemistry universal, accessible, repeatable, powerful. And with that power comes a choice that continues today. This story is not about regret. It is about maturity. Chemistry has grown from mystery to mastery. Now it must grow into wisdom. Understanding this gives us a chance to guide the next generation differently, to pair simplicity with foresight, to teach not just how reactions work, but how they shape the world when multiplied. Subscribe to join the journey.